What if we told you that one of the most dramatic and unexpected love triangles in hip-hop didn't start with Papoose, and it definitely didn't end with Easy the Block Captain? What if the story we've all accepted as one of the last great examples of black love in the rap game, the Remy Ma and Papoose story, was actually built on top of a history that's only now starting to come to light? Because thanks to one offhand comment in a viral interview, people are rewatching Terror Squad videos, decoding old lyrics, and rethinking everything we thought we knew about Remy Ma's past. And at the center of it all is not a rapper, not a blogger, but the undefeated boxing champion Claressa Shields, who accidentally ignited a firestorm with a single sentence. It happened during a routine press tour. Claressa was promoting an upcoming fight, a time when most athletes stick to sports, keep things safe, and avoid controversy. But during a podcast appearance, the host brought up Remy Ma and Papoose's current relationship drama, which, to be fair, has been a hot topic for months following speculation about Remy's alleged affair with Easy the Block Captain. Rather than offering a rehearsed or neutral response, Claressa leaned back, smirked, and dropped a line that sent shockwaves through the culture. "You know she was with Joe before Pap, right? That ain't news to us, it's news to y'all." In an instant, timelines lit up, Twitter lost its mind, and Reddit threads began exploding with speculation. One comment, one line. That was all it took to shake the foundation of one of the most admired love stories in modern hip-hop. Because if what Claressa said is true, that Remy Ma and Fat Joe had a romantic history before Papoose, then we've been watching the wrong love story this entire time. And the implications go far deeper than just industry gossip. To understand the weight of this revelation, you have to go back, way back, to the early 2000s. Remy Ma had just burst onto the scene under the wing of Big Pun, the legendary Bronx MC who saw her raw talent and brought her into his circle. But Pun's sudden death left Remy in the wind, talented, hungry, and vulnerable. And that's when Fat Joe stepped in. At the time, Joe was more than just a rapper. He was a boss, a Bronx gatekeeper, the leader of Terror Squad, and the man who promised to protect and uplift Pun's legacy, including Remy Ma. On the surface, Joe did everything a label head should do. He put Remy on hit records. He got her in the right rooms. He gave her verses on chart-topping tracks, including her breakout on Lean Back. He helped position her as the next big female rapper in New York. But if we're to believe what's being said now, there was something else happening behind the scenes. Something emotional, something personal, something romantic. According to a former Terror Squad assistant who worked closely with the crew between 2002 and 2006, Joe and Remy's relationship was always deeper than people realized. She claimed Remy had her own private dressing room at shows, not because of celebrity status, but because they wanted to keep things quiet. The assistant described a bond between them that went beyond artist and label boss. They were always close. They called each other Joey and Matt, even off camera. And when recording sessions stretched past 2 or 3 in the morning, nobody batted an eye when Remy was still at the studio alone with Joe. Then there's the resurfaced footage from 2005 that has fans playing detective. In the clip, Joe hugs Remy after a performance, nothing out of the ordinary. But if you listen closely, right before the video cuts off, you can hear Joe say something that's been overlooked for years. "We going to get it right this time." That line might have seemed like nothing in 2005, but in the context of what Claressa Shields just revealed, it feels like a breadcrumb that leads to a much bigger truth. Because now, fans are connecting dots, and they're everywhere. From old tour photos to backstage videos, from ambiguous lyrics to quiet moments in music videos. For example, in one clip from the Lean Back remix performance, Joe and Remy share a subtle laugh and whisper something just off mic, right before the beat drops. For years, it looked like typical chemistry between collaborators. But now, people are dissecting it frame by frame like it's a hidden message. But the rumors don't stop at body language and whispers. One promoter claims he personally saw Remy and Joe check into the same hotel room after a show in Atlanta in 2004. Back then, it was easy to explain away. Artists do that for safety or scheduling. But now, in the shadow of Claressa's revelation, that memory hits different. There's also talk of a Terror Squad trip to Puerto Rico in 2003, supposedly a music retreat, where Joe and Remy were seen jet skiing alone and having private dinners away from the rest of the team. Multiple unnamed sources have come forward saying the connection between them was obvious, but unspoken. Not necessarily forbidden, but definitely not encouraged. In fact, according to one insider, there were internal warnings. One executive reportedly told Joe, "If you mix this up, you could lose everything." That may have been enough to make him pull back, stay quiet, and let the public assume it was all business. Meanwhile, enter Papoose, the underground legend, the lyricist, the man who stood by Remy Ma during her darkest years, through court trials, a 6-year prison sentence, and an uphill battle to reclaim her place in the rap game. Papoose married Remy while she was behind bars and never missed a visit. He became the symbol of loyalty, the embodiment of stand by your woman energy. Their love was celebrated, televised, and hashtagged as a shining example of what love in hip-hop could look like. But what if that story was only half true? What if, behind the wedding vows and prison visits, there was a chapter we were never meant to read? A love story that started years before Papoose came into the picture, and never truly ended. Because now, with Claressa Shields' statement out in the world, more people are starting to talk. Quietly, carefully, but they're talking. One now-deleted tweet from a respected hip-hop blogger claimed that a former team member still has Remy Ma's old iPod from her pre-prison days. On that device, according to the tweet, are voice notes. Not from producers, not from friends, but from Fat Joe, personal messages, emotional messages, maybe even romantic. While no audio has leaked, yet the fact that people even believe this is possible shows just how much the narrative has shifted. And maybe the most powerful piece of all this, the fact that it was Claressa Shields, not a rapper, not a journalist, who brought it to the surface. In one moment of unfiltered honesty, she cracked open a decade-old vault that the industry worked very hard to seal shut. It wasn't just gossip. It was a trigger, a pressure point. And now the hip-hop community is bracing for what else might spill out. Because if Remy Ma and Fat Joe really had a romantic relationship, even briefly, then the timeline we've all accepted has been a lie. It means that Remy's emotional loyalty may have been divided. That Joe buried a part of himself for the sake of business and brotherhood. And that Papoose, the loyal husband and cultural icon of commitment, may have been unknowingly following a love story already written in someone else's ink. So where do we go from here? The truth is, we may never get full confirmation. None of the people involved have publicly addressed Claressa's comments. Not Joe, not Remy, not Pap. But the culture is watching, fans are digging, bloggers are circling. And somewhere out there, in someone's vault, is a device, or a message, or a photo that could flip the table for good. Until then, the story of Remy Ma, Fat Joe, and Papoose remains a puzzle. One with missing pieces, blurred lines, and secrets tucked into studio booths, tour buses, and late-night studio sessions. And as the internet continues its deep dive, one thing is certain. This isn't over. This isn't finished. This is just the beginning. So what do you think? Was Claressa Shields just stirring the pot, or did she expose the secret hip-hop's kept hidden for over 20 years? Were Fat Joe and Remy Ma more than just friends and collaborators? And if so, what does that say about the love story we've all been rooting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because in part 2, we're digging into how this revelation is already affecting Remy and Papoose's relationship, and what insiders are now saying about the real reason behind their public tension.